There are forces in life we can see, like storms, mountains, rivers. But there are also forces unseen, hidden in silence yet stronger than the loudest thunder. One such force is belief. This is the journey of Aria, a simple girl from a small town, who discovered how the unseen power of believing can transform not just one life, but countless others. Aria lived in a quiet countryside village, where life followed the same rhythm every day. Farmers rising at dawn, shopkeepers opening shutters, children playing in dusty lanes. But in Aria's heart, there was a different rhythm. She dreamed of becoming a writer, not just for her town, not just for her country, but for the world. When she told her father, he shook his head. Books won't feed you, Aria. Be realistic. You should look for a safe job. Her teacher told her, talent is not enough. People like us don't reach the big stage. You must learn to settle. Her friends laughed when she spoke of seeing her books in libraries and airports someday. Slowly, doubt began to creep in. Could she really do something so big, when she felt so small? One night, after yet another rejection letter from a magazine, Aria sat under the stars with tears in her eyes. She whispered to herself, maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not good enough. But then, she remembered her grandmother's words. Belief, child, is like a seed. You don't see what happens underground, but something is growing in silence. If you keep watering it, one day, it will break the soil and rise to the sun. That night, Aria made a promise. She would believe in her dream, even if no one else did. From that day forward, Aria rose at dawn. She wrote before the village woke up, filling notebooks with stories, thoughts, and emotions. At times, her hands trembled, her eyes burned from sleepless nights, and her heart questioned if this effort was wasted. But she kept going, whispering to herself, every word I write is watering my seed of belief. She sent her work to publishers again and again. Each time, rejection came back like a slap. Not suitable for our readers. Too simple. Not strong enough. But Aria began to change how she saw rejection. Instead of letting it crush her, she treated each one as proof that she was trying, proof that she was still in the fight. Years passed. Aria was now in her mid-20s. Many of her friends had jobs, families, stable incomes. Aria, on the other hand, had only piles of handwritten drafts, and a trail of rejection letters. One evening, her father said, Aria, it's time to stop chasing dreams. Reality doesn't wait forever. Look at your friends. They're building lives. What are you building? Aria's heart broke. But that night, instead of giving up, she opened her notebook and wrote, I am building belief. And belief builds everything else. After 5 long years, something shifted. One of her short stories was finally published in a small online magazine. It wasn't paid. It didn't make headlines. But it reached one person. A young girl wrote to Aria, I was ready to give up on life. But your story reminded me to hold on. You saved me. Aria cried. At that moment, she understood something powerful. Even if my words change one life, my dream is already alive. With renewed strength, Aria kept writing. She kept believing. Slowly, more doors opened. A blog invited her to contribute. A small publisher offered to print her collection of short stories. She still wasn't famous, but she was growing. Each step forward felt like a victory, not because it was big, but because it was proof that belief was working silently behind the scenes. Aria's first book launched modestly. Sales were slow, reviews were few. But then, something unexpected happened. A well-known motivational speaker quoted her book in a seminar. Suddenly, people started noticing her work. Invitations to podcasts, interviews, and book clubs poured in. Her words began to travel far, crossing borders, languages, and cultures. One day, she stood on a stage in front of thousands, sharing her journey. She looked at the sea of faces and thought, "Once they told me my dream was impossible. But here I am." Proof of the unseen power of believing. Lessons for the listener. Aria's story teaches us that belief is invisible, but its results are undeniable. The world mirrors your inner voice. If you doubt yourself, others will too. If you believe, others will start believing. Rejection isn't failure, it's redirection. Every no is guiding you toward your true ease. Belief grows in silence. Like roots underground, it's preparing you for a moment of breakthrough. One believer can change thousands. Aria believed in herself, and her belief gave strength to countless others. Today, Aria is known worldwide. Not because she was the most talented, the richest, or the luckiest, but because she believed when nobody else did. And now, whenever someone asks her the secret to success, she smiles and says, "It was never about fame or money. It was about faith. The unseen power of believing carried me where doubt could never go." So, my friend, when life whispers, "You can't," answer back with the quiet, unstoppable force of belief, "I can, I will, I must." There are things in life that we can measure: strength, money, success, possessions. But the greatest force of all cannot be measured, cannot be touched, cannot be seen. It is the power of the human spirit. This is the story of Rahim, a boy who had nothing, but inside him burned an unseen power, a spirit so unbreakable that no failure, no rejection, and no hardship could silence it. Rahim's life began in a slum on the edge of a bustling city. His home was a single room with cracked walls and a roof that leaked every time it rained. His father worked 12-hour shifts in a factory, while his mother sewed clothes by candlelight, just to put food on the table. They were poor, so poor that sometimes dinner was nothing more than dry bread and water. Yet Rahim dreamed of something far beyond survival. He wanted to become an athlete, to run across stadiums, to hear the roar of crowds, to represent his country. But when he shared his dream, people laughed. "You, an athlete, look at your torn shoes. Dreams like that are for the rich, not for kids like you." Even his father, worn down by life, told him, "Son, you must wake up. Life is about survival, not dreams." But Rahim's mother would smile softly and say, "My boy, the world may laugh, but never let them break your spirit. Your spirit is your true strength." Rahim began running every morning on cracked roads. His shoes were so worn out that he tied them with rope. Some days he ran barefoot, the stones cutting his feet, but he kept moving. The neighbors whispered, Look at him wasting his time. He should find work instead of chasing foolish dreams. But Rahim answered their doubts with silence and sweat. One day, he entered his first local race. Competitors arrived with polished shoes and professional training. Rahim showed up in his patched clothes and broken sneakers. When the whistle blew, he gave everything he had. But he finished last. The crowd laughed, and humiliation burned in his chest. That night, he cried. He wanted to quit. But his mother reminded him, "Failure is not your enemy. It is the hammer that shapes your spirit into steel. Don't let this break you. Let it build you." Rahim decided to train harder than ever before. He woke before sunrise, tied heavy bricks to his legs, and sprinted until his body shook. He lifted water containers as weights. He chased buses on the main road just to improve his speed. His hands blistered, his feet bled, but he refused to stop. Every time he collapsed, he whispered to himself, "I may fall, but my spirit will not break." The other boys in his area laughed at him. Some even mocked him while he trained. But Rahim used their laughter as fuel. The more they doubted, the harder he worked. Years passed. Rahim's body grew stronger. His mind grew sharper. His spirit grew unshakable. At 18, he entered a district championship. Once again, others had coaches and sponsors. Rahim had none. But this time, something was different. His preparation, his discipline, his spirit. The race began. Rahim ran with fire. He didn't win first place, but he finished third. For the first time, the crowd didn't laugh. They clapped. A coach approached him after the race and said, "You don't have resources, but you have something rare. An unbreakable spirit. Let me train you." Training under the coach was not easy. It was brutal. Early mornings before sunrise. Endless laps until his lungs burned. Strength drills until his muscles screamed. Rahim often thought about quitting. But then he remembered the slum, his father's weary eyes, his mother's words. Each time he wanted to give up, he reminded himself, pain is temporary, but spirit is forever. Slowly, he transformed. His body became faster, stronger. His mind became disciplined. Rahim qualified for the national trials. This was the moment he had dreamed of for years. Standing among the best runners in the country, Rahim felt small again. Whispers filled the stadium. "Who's this boy? He won't last." But when the whistle blew, Rahim's spirit exploded. He ran not just with legs, but with memories. Of cracked roads, of hunger, of laughter and mockery. He didn't win, but he placed in the top 5. For a boy from the slums, this was a miracle. 2 years later, Rahim finally achieved what once seemed impossible. He qualified for the international championship. The stadium was massive, cameras flashing, the world watching. For a moment, fear whispered, "You don't belong here." But then, Rahim remembered his mother's voice. "Your spirit is your true strength." When the race began, he ran with unshakable determination. He didn't win gold. But he finished with one of the best times of his life. And when he crossed the finish line, tears filled his eyes. He was no longer the barefoot boy mocked on the streets. He was proof that an unbreakable spirit can turn the impossible into reality. Rahim didn't stop there. He returned to his slum, built a small training ground, and began coaching other poor children. He told them, "Shoes, money, resources, these things help. But they are not everything. What truly matters is the fire inside you, the unseen power, the unbreakable spirit." Dozens of children began to train under him. Some became athletes, some became strong in life. All of them carried his message. Life lessons Rahim's journey teaches. Circumstances cannot define you. Your spirit does. Failure is not the end, but the beginning of strength. Resources are useful, but belief is essential. An unbreakable spirit inspires not only your life, but also generations after you. Pain passes, but the power you gain from enduring it lasts forever. Rahim's story is not just about running. It is about life itself. The world may take away your comfort, your stability, even your pride. But as long as you protect your spirit, nothing can truly defeat you. So, whenever life tells you, you can't, stand tall and whisper, "I am powered by the unseen. I am guided by the unbreakable. I will not stop." Because in the end, it is not the strongest who win, nor the richest, nor the most talented. It is those with the unseen power of belief, and the unbreakable spirit of persistence who rise above all. Every human being carries a power the eyes cannot see, the hands cannot touch, and the world cannot measure. This power lies in the heart, in the mind, and in the spirit. It is the unseen force that keeps us moving when everything says, "Stop." This is the story of Ayan, a young man who discovered that with unseen power within and a refusal to quit, his journey could become unstoppable. Ayan was born in a crowded neighborhood where dreams were rare. Most children grew up believing that life meant survival. Work, food, sleep, repeat. But Ayan dreamed differently. He wanted to become an engineer, to design bridges and buildings that would outlast time. Yet, poverty was a heavy chain. His father was a bus driver, his mother a cleaner. Books were a luxury, electricity often cut off, and meals sometimes skipped. When Ayan told his classmates he wanted to become an engineer, they laughed. "You, look at your shoes. Look at your life. Kids like us don't build bridges, we carry bricks." Even some teachers dismissed him. "Be realistic, Ayan. Education is expensive. Don't dream too high." But Ayan's mother whispered at night, "My son, the world may limit you, but never limit yourself. Your unseen power will guide you." At 13, Ayan found an old physics book in a junk shop. Its pages were torn, its cover faded, but inside, he discovered formulas, drawings, and ideas that lit his soul on fire. He began studying under the dim glow of a kerosene lamp. While his friends played outside, Ayan drew bridges on scraps of paper. But life tested him. Many nights, hunger made it hard to concentrate. Many mornings, he went to school without lunch. His classmates teased him, "Dreamer, hungry dreamer." But every insult became fuel. Every hardship became training for his spirit. By the time he finished school, Ayan faced his greatest obstacle, money. College fees were far beyond his family's reach. His father suggested, "Forget studies, son. Join me as a driver. At least we'll survive." But Ayan replied softly, "Baba, survival is not enough. I want to build, not just exist." So he took odd jobs, cleaning shops, carrying loads, tutoring younger kids. Every coin he earned, he saved for books and exams. His body was tired, but his spirit refused to stop. After 2 years of struggle, Ian earned a scholarship at a small engineering college. It was far from prestigious, but for him, it was a golden ticket. The other students came with laptops, expensive tools, and connections. Ian came with nothing but determination. At first, he felt like an outsider. Professors doubted him, classmates ignored him. But Ian studied day and night, often borrowing notes, staying in libraries until closing. Soon, his projects began to stand out. He built small models from scrap, designed bridges with unique ideas. His teachers began to notice. One of them told him, "You don't have resources, Ian, but you have something more important, an unstoppable journey." Just when things were improving, tragedy struck. His father fell seriously ill and could no longer work. The family's income vanished. Ian now had to balance studies, jobs, and medical bills. There were nights he almost gave up. He once told his mother, maybe I should stop studying. Maybe they were right. I'm asking too much from life." But she held his hands and said firmly, "No, Ian. This is not the end. Your journey is unstoppable. As long as you keep moving, the road will open." Her faith reignited his own. Ian's hard work eventually paid off. When he was selected for an international student competition in civil engineering, it was his first time leaving his city. His first time flying on an airplane. Standing among students from elite universities, Ian felt small again. Whispers circled. "Who is this boy? He doesn't even have proper equipment." But when it was his turn, Ian presented a bridge model built from recycled materials, something unique and practical for poor communities. The judges were astonished. He didn't just present a design, he presented hope. Ian didn't win first place, but he earned recognition, contacts, and an internship abroad. Years later, Ian stood as a professional engineer, designing projects that changed lives. Bridges in rural areas, housing for the poor, schools for children who once lived like he did. He had traveled a long road, filled with hunger, rejection, and tears. But his unseen power, his belief in himself, and his refusal to stop turned that road into an unstoppable journey. Ian returned to his community to create a foundation for poor students. He told them, "I was once where you are. I had nothing. But I carried unseen power within me, and I never stopped walking. You too can walk an unstoppable journey." Dozens of children began to dream again. His story became a light in the darkness of poverty. Lessons for the listener from Ian's story. We learn. The unseen power within you is greater than the visible obstacles around you. Dreams require sacrifice, but sacrifice builds strength. Failures and rejections are not dead ends. They are part of the unstoppable road. Resources are useful, but resilience is essential. Your unstoppable journey is not just for you. It inspires everyone who comes after you. Ian's life reminds us that the unseen power of belief and persistence can turn the weakest beginnings into the strongest legacies. So when the world tells you to stop, when life feels heavy, when your dreams seem impossible, remember you carry unseen power. Your journey is unstoppable. Stand tall, keep moving, and whisper to yourself, no matter how hard it gets, I will not stop. My unseen power will guide me. My journey is unstoppable.